So if it skip this line, that means the code is fine. So that means we have our student. So we can then go ahead to to send our to send the details of the student to the template. So you then go first name. Of course, you can just go first name, and the first name will be student. Don't forget that a student is an object for the particular ID, like the student with the ID that you are getting from the URL. So which is a particular object. This time around, this is not an array, it's an object. So which, and I told you, object is the collection of key value pairs. So key and value. So we go first name, and we also have the last name. Let's just pass everything we are going to be needing to the last name. Of course, you can see some IntelliSense in action. And I think we have age. We have age student dot age. And we also have, I think, is registered. Is registered. Take note of the fact that anything you are calling the key is what you should use in the front end. Student dot is registered. So let's just leave it for now. Let's just see it in action for now. But let us go to our student this page now. And what we just do in here is to say that okay, of course we are now getting the student first name. Let me see the way we are able to write it. First underscore name. Last, okay, should we just, let's just make it first name for simplicity's sake, last name. So that means I'll then come to my student page. That means for the particular student, just don't forget I told you that if you want to display a variable, you should just put the double quote for the first one now, and that one for the last name. And that one for the last name. Don't forget this should be the same thing with what you call it earlier on. So I then go here and just say h1, close the h1 tag, close the h1 tag, and I say first name, so that we have the first name of the student, just to display some record. Of course this might not be first name, and I go, let's use, let me just duplicate this line. I go h2, okay, change automatically. Let me just display the student age here. Okay, let me just do paragraph. Let me just do paragraph, and I say is the age of the student is maybe 40 or 20 years old, and currently, so now let's use some, if it's registered, you say currently registered for the academic section, or currently unregistered for the academic section. Let's use some if else now. Now we want to write logic. If you want to just write a variable, just use double curly braces. But if you want to write logic, you'll have the curly braces and you have the percentage. So this is logic. So logic now, I want to use if is, don't forget in here you use it as is registered. So you should come here and say if is registered, which is what we are passing to this template. You just say registered, of course, and currently registered. For simply, let me just have it in a separate line. Registered for the, so of course I would then say S, which is also a logic S. That means if this is not true, if this is true, display registered, and if this is not true, display unregistered. And don't forget, when you write logic, you should always end it. So then I then end my if, I then continue my statement. So it will display the first name and the last name, and I'll say is 40 years old, 20 years old, and currently if his registered is true, is currently registered. If his register is false, it's currently unregistered. So I will then go for the academic year. So let's see that in action first. So now that we have that, we refresh. All two students, the two students are here. We then click. Now you can see now I have John Doe, which is the first name and last name. You can see that in the title we have the name of the student, and we can see that he's 40 years old. This is a dynamic content and currently unregistered because it's registered for this particular user is false for the academic year. So if I go back and I click on view the second one, you can see now that we have the name generated dynamically with the same page. The first name, the last name, 20, and currently this one is registered because it's registered for this particular user is true. So then what I would then do in here for the last, just for a wrap, let's just navigate the user back to the home page. Let's just navigate the user back to the home page. Now say back to, let's just say go back to the student list. So I'll then say the href, see where the URL name come handy now. So href, I'll then see the URL is, now look at what we call the URL here. For the home page, the name we gave it was index, so you should choose the same name in here. So the URL I want to navigate to is, of course this does not need me to pass any ID, so I'll just leave it like that. So if I save and I come back to refresh, you can see go back to student list. If I click back, it go back to the home page. I click on the students, I see the students, I go back to the home page, I click on the students, I go back to the home page. Now one last thing before we now close this tutorial, and that is the sorting of elements in a particular order. Sorting your elements in a particular order. Now you can see inside here, this is where we are getting our students. Let's say you have like 1000 students. Okay, inside it is where we are getting our students. Let's say you have 1000 students, and okay, you want to just navigate them according to their first name alphabetically, or you want to sort them according to their first name alphabetically. And what you just need to do is just add the function here and say that order by the first name. Don't forget it should tally with the name of the model. So if I save it now and I refresh, of course you don't see any change because this is I and this is O. So let's say I want to do it in descending order. All I just need to do is come in here and change it to negative. So you put it in descending order. So if I refresh now, you can see now that it take the highest first followed by the lowest. So I can sort by any field, I can sort by the last name, I can sort by the age, I can sort by any, as long as the field exists here, I can sort by it. So, and if I want it in ascending order, that is the default. I will not put this minus or negative sign. But if I want it in descending order, then I'll put the negative sign in front of the feed that I'm using to sort it. That is it for the data model session of the Django tutorial series. Subsequently, we are going to be looking at the admin interface that comes shipped with Django framework.